Is there anything I can do, sir? Please. Don't do this to my wife, man. You don't know what you're doing to my family, man. Please. I'm begging you. I'm literally where am I going to put my feet? Sir, I'm begging you. Please. Please. Please.
That is not a crime, and you're telling me to get out of my vehicle.
Do you know where Lieutenant Mingus is right now? So no, he's not in the building?
I don't know. I'm not.
What do you know? I'm not telling you nothing else until I find out who's driving that vehicle. You not a supervisor, bro. I need somebody higher than you right now.
If you didn't know, I went to the police academy and they kicked me out.
That's my purse! I don't know you!
Spit me on my face right now. She spit in my face.
Today's video takes us to glittering Las Vegas, Nevada. But we won't be looking at the glitter today. No, we're going to stop at the Clark County Detention Center in Las Vegas because that's where Chille de Castro is locked up for 6 months. And now he has an attorney e-begging for him. Will his grift never stop? I don't know. So I'll sit back, watch, have a good laugh, and most of all, enjoy!
So what I'm going to show you is, okay. What I want to share with you first of all is, so I got to the jail around 12:50-ish. I, go in there, check in. They don't let you take cell phones. They don't let you have any of that kind of stuff up there. So I go up there, I meet with him, and he had just a few things that he wanted me to share with you. Number one is we don't have anybody to help him in the second Nevada case. So that is the case where he was, in my opinion, falsely arrested for going into allegedly a crime scene.
How many GoFundMe pages does this moron have? I know he's got at least 4 of them. Now he wants another one? Yeah, you know what? The people who donate to this idiot really have issues. Now this guy listed here, Charles Phillips, you see it on the right side. You go into all donations, you see 600 there. He made another 100 and another 200. So do the math on that. That's crazy.
So that's where he was allegedly arrested for going into a crime scene, guys. And he's walking down the sidewalk, and he's instructed by an officer that he can go over to where the officers are. So he walks over there, and then the officers point to the tape on the street, and they say, one of the officers says, hey, you're inside of a crime scene. Another officer thinks that he's not inside of a crime scene. So nobody really knows where the so-called crime scene is. He pops off to him, gets him upset, and he ends up getting arrested. That's in the long form. That's what happened to Chille. Now, yeah, exactly. Another BS arrest, right? So basically, Chille doesn't really have anybody supporting the Delete Lost channel besides Brian. So I volunteered to come on just to kind of tell you what's happening.
I played that passage back so many times, and I don't know what the hell this guy said about Brian. If you know what he said, leave me a comment, please, because I couldn't understand it. But apparently Brian's gone from Here's the Deal channel. Yeah, maybe he wasn't getting paid enough, because I don't care how much somebody likes you, they're not going to do something for nothing. Eventually they're going to want their money, Even family members, they're the first to screw you. But at any rate, Chille doesn't have anybody. He's in the dungeon all alone, dropping the soap with Bubba.
Because I'm visiting him at the dungeon about once a week, and just to share what happened while I was there with you, to kind of tell you what's going on. And we decided that, like once a week, I'll just come on and tell you what happened at the jail. So first of all, a lot of people don't know who I am. I am Mike Leland. I am a California and Texas personal injury attorney. And the work that I do here has nothing to do with what I do at my firm. I'm just helping out. A friend of mine got locked up. Chille gets the golden handcuffs. They put the torture cuffs on him. They lock him up because they're alleging that he was basically in a crime scene area, but he wasn't. And there was a dispute among the officers at the scene as to where the crime scene actually was, but yet he was still arrested. And so there seems to be a mad dash right now to silence anybody who supports the First Amendment, to silence these cop watchers, these auditors who go and film at post offices, paint them as domestic violent extremists or whatever it might be. And law enforcement is going along with the program, and I believe they're pretextually using things like Penal Code Section 148 and obstruction, basically to chill people from exercising their First Amendment rights of filming and police officers accountable.
I'm not worried about the police officers being held accountable. I'm worried about this yahoo on the screen being held accountable. He thinks he's invincible, he's untouchable, and we won't stop. Could you imagine this yahoo wants to run for governor of Nevada? What the hell? Who's going to vote for him, man? What the hell, man?
And we know that law enforcement has had a history in the past doing questionable things, turning off their body cams at the right time, or footage mysteriously disappearing from their body cam footage, et cetera, et cetera. So we know that that happens quite a bit. And the idea behind the auditors and cop watchers, whether you hate them or whether you love them, is they're testing, sometimes with extreme sort of attitude, these law enforcement officers to hold them accountable, to hold public officials accountable. So that's kind of what's going on. And now, when these officers get out of line, we're finding now that the courts are going to uphold the officer. Now, in Chille's last case, we saw that the footage that Chille actually used in that arrest was never even entered into the record. So you can even see that even if you have the best intentions and you're the best auditor in the world, if you're not synced in with your legal counsel, things are going to get missed. And so I really encourage all of you to learn the law and study the law a little bit before you go out there, and make sure that you already have a lawyer lined up, because what you're engaged in is an activity that's highly likely to get you arrested, even if you're totally in the right.
Yeah, we all know that these frauditors don't have anything at all to do with the First Amendment, and it has everything to do with the clicks and views and how much money they can earn on YouTube. Because these guys, the pictures you're looking at right now, they don't do anything about the government officials. They just stand around on the damn sidewalk and harass people until they get a negative reaction. And of course, this is not an inclusive list. The list is endless. Idiots!
The point of this exercise, guys, is to tell you about my experience with Chille in jail. So I hung out with him. You go up there. I'm not going to tell you too many details, but you go up into a room where you meet with your client. And since I represent Chille in other matters, again, I'm licensed in California and Texas. I'm not helping him in his Nevada case. I'm just meeting with him because he doesn't have anybody else that can. And I've got stuff that I'm doing with him. So it's a good thing. And I said, look, if you want, I can share to Team DLZ what's going on as long as it's not confidential stuff. And so what he wanted me to share with y'all is he's very, very big now on the idea of segregating prisons. And I don't mean the old segregation where you're separating black people from white people and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about violent offenders being separated from nonviolent, and then the crazy people who talk to themselves, who are kind of nutty. They should all be into the torture where everyone's just mixed. That's totally interesting. And by the way, we have over, I think, 500,000 nonviolent offenders in our prison system. And so one of the things that Chille is really big on is trying to find a way to rehabilitate people who may have done things that go against the policy or maybe are bad for the public, but yet are nonviolent. And so one of the suggestions that he had and that we're going to explore are a form of a halfway house, for lack of a better word, where nonviolent offenders can go and there's cameras everywhere, there's chain link, and it's like a voluntary thing.
Chille is a broken down man, isn't he? He is just so desperate to get out of the dungeon. I tell you what, man, you did it to yourself. You have no one else to blame except yourself. You're an avowed cop hater. You have no respect for authority, no respect for the court, no respect for anyone. Yeah, somebody like that probably can't even respect themselves. You look in the mirror and you see what? Oh, I know everything. I can beat these people. They don't know Jack Diddley. Well, now you don't know Jack Diddley, do you? And you're in the right place, bro. Jails are not supposed to be a fun place. No, not at all.
So you're not locked up with a bunch of crazy people trying to kill you. And it gives you the ability to still work. Remember, when somebody gets arrested and they get thrown in jail, it's a real problem. You could lose everything. You could absolutely lose. You could lose your job. You could lose your wife. You could lose your kids. I mean, not bringing in income when you're living hand to mouth is devastating to a lot of people. So a nonviolent offender, rather than locking them up and just making them go crazy, give them an opportunity to sure be segregated from society at large, but still be able to support their families and serve their time without being locked up with crazy killers and psychopaths. Many people believe that Twin Towers in Los Angeles is more dangerous than state prison, and that's a county jail. County jails are freaking hellholes. It is a dungeon. It is torture. I visited many prisoners in jail, being a lawyer and having done appellate law, and it's no fun. It makes you sick to your stomach, and it's okay to be a lawyer and still care about human rights and natural rights. And so that's why I'm here, because I see an injustice. I see that people like Chille, who test the system, who try to hold our public officials accountable, they're the ones who go down. That's why you guys need to support him, because he's one of the few people who's actually standing up for your rights. So that being said, Chille has a legal defense fund, and I put the link in the sidebar. It's also in the description of the video, I believe. I would like it if you would donate some money. We need to raise about $30,000.
It's unbelievable to me how Chille can con people. You would think an attorney wouldn't be able to be misled down the wrong path, but I can't say too much because I don't want to get sued by the guy. But it's just amazing to me that an attorney would not see through this guy. Yeah, he's just e-begging for more money, and when he gets out of jail, he's going to have what? At least $70,000 that I'm aware of. At least $70,000. Yeah, it's just a big grift, man. I tell you. And what's he doing to protect our rights? What's Chille doing? Nothing. He's just collecting money from people. That's all he's doing.
I definitely recommend. Well, yeah. So let me see. Rick Jones, he did say something. The Chille's not testing. Look, I got to agree with you. I mean, he is a really bold guy. To me, he reminds me of a modern day William Wallace. I know a lot of the people who like to flamethrow have a lot of negative things to say about him, but I don't feel that way. I think that we all have our own issues, but I think at the end of the day, if you judge Chille and what he's doing for the community at large and helping people hold officials accountable, helping fund people's criminal defense cases while he's still locked up in jail, barely able to defend himself, those are all very commendable things. So I see that he's put his money where his mouth is. And again, I'm not like, I do car accident cases. This is not what I do for a living, guys. I do stuff like work comp and personal injury law, but I'm also a natural law guy, and I believe what Chille is good. So what I'd like to do is sort of play the video for you of what happened, and then I want everybody to give me a bunch of ones if you're going to donate a couple bucks to Chille's fundraiser. So I'm going to put the fundraiser really quick up on the thing, because I really want you guys to consider throwing him a couple of dinars. And this is going to be for the second arrest, where he was in crime scene tape allegedly, and then of course some officers think that he wasn't, and we're trying to figure out why was there even an arrest when there's a dispute as to whether or not Chille was or was not in violation of the law. That there's no way that you can ever convict somebody based on that. So there's that.
Anyone who's been touched by Chille's, how should we say, narcissism? Yeah, narcissism. Anybody who's been touched by his narcissism is rejoicing in the fact that he's in jail. I know that he filed multiple false copyright strikes on so many channels, mine included. Cost me thousands of dollars when he took down my channel. Yeah, so this is payback, Chille. I don't care. Right, wrong, or indifferent. You're in the right place, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. And you think that jail is supposed to be a fun place where you get rehabilitated? Quite the opposite. Yeah, maybe if you go to a different country like Norway or Sweden, yeah, they really rehabilitate their prisoners in countries like those, but not here in the good old United States.
And I want you to support Chille. And so I'm a little disappointed because I'm looking at this fundraiser that we did. We got $100, guys. All right, there we go. Thank you so much. That really means a lot to me because I'm donating my time. I bill out at about $500 an hour as a lawyer, and I'm donating my time because I really believe in this mission, guys. You got to understand something. You can criticize the man, you can talk trash, and then nobody is willing to do what he's doing. There are a couple of auditors out there that have come somewhat close, but Chille has really put the spotlight on police abuse and a lot of the bad things that are going on out there. I mean, we saw what happened in Ironton, a totally corrupt police force, ridiculous, nepotism, crazy stuff. I mean, this guy literally exposes evil. And you know for a fact that these guys do not want him out there. The political class, the administrative state, they do not want squeaky wheels like this guy. These are the same people that King George didn't like. Remember that. Whose side do you think King George would have been on? Chille's side or the government side? It's kind of a stupid question.
It's enough of that nonsense, good people. I just wanted to give you a couple excerpts from the live stream. It was an hour and 42 minutes. Man, now this attorney started to talk about some political things that I don't fancy. Yeah, I try to keep politics out of my channel as best I can, and I just didn't want to air those things. But yeah, this one guy, his last name's Phillips. He's donated $1,000 out of 1,300. So without him, that fundraiser would only be gathering $325. How much money does Chille think people have? You can't keep asking people for money and expect them to give it. Hey, let's take a look at one of my favorite videos of Chille. He rolled that clip.
All right, Jose Castro, 23 CR 013015.
Good morning, Your Honor. Agnes Botello and David Cave for the record. Good morning, State.
Good morning, Michael. Me on behalf of the defendant present with me this morning.
So I have signed 2 media requests that permit recording or photographing these proceedings, but I have not granted any other requests to record or live stream these proceedings. So I need Mr. DeCastro and everybody else who wants to stay in the courtroom to surrender their phones, or you can leave.
Are your phone covered and I'll take one or you can exit.
I need Mr. DeCastro to empty all of his pockets.
What's that?
Empty your pockets
and give up your phones to the judge.
Okay.
I have to give you my phones?
Yeah.
My phones have to be completely off?
Yep. I don't really want to be part of your YouTube channel. So
You already are.
great,
You already are.
awesome.
I'm not gonna get into this guy though. I'll get into someone else. I'm
No,
not touching myself.
no, they're gonna go to my marshal.
He's a pig.
Excuse me?
I said he's a pig.
Okay. So I'm not gonna permit you to speak to anybody in my courtroom in that manner. And if you don't want to apologize, I'm gonna hold you in contempt.
I apologize to the court, Your Honor.
No, you can apologize to, they've done nothing to you.
Actually, Your Honor, when you were here, you came over and gave me a directive for no reason and started telling me what to do.
Okay,
I
well,
have all the respect and love for the court. I follow the rule of law all the time.
no, it is their job to maintain the safety and security of the courtroom.
I agree with you, Your Honor.
So if you want to speak like that in my courtroom, I'm going to hold you in contempt. And if I hold you in contempt, you're going to jail. That is not my wish. Okay?
I wish you could.
All right. So I need you to empty your pockets too. Suit pocket, pants pocket.
This is illegal. This is a violation of my Fourth Amendment.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is. I don't have any recording devices on me. What are you talking about?
How about suit jacket?
I don't have anything on me. This is preposterous.
No, it's
This really
not.
is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Mr. Mead, your phone too. Off.
They're recording everything.
They have a media request.
Right, and I'm not recording anything. Your guy here took my phone, so his phone's not on.
Right.
Should make sure You have to take the lawyer's phone too?
No, I'm not gonna take the lawyer's phone. He's an officer of the court. All right, do we have everybody's phones? Are they off? All right, good. All right.
So within the first couple of minutes here, Chille's managed to offend the judge, offend the police, and probably offend his mama. Yeah, Chille, you better watch it, because you'll be held in contempt at court. Well, it plays out even better than that. Let's keep rolling the clip.
All right, this is the time set for the trial of State of Nevada versus Jose De Castro, 23 CR 013015. Is the state ready to proceed?
Yes, we are, Your Honor.
How many witnesses do you have?
We anticipate one.
All right, is the defense ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I have your request to convert counsel to standby counsel. I'm going to deny that request. Either you represent him or he should have previously requested a Faretta canvas to represent himself. That I just consider that a delay tactic, so that request is denied. Are you ready to proceed? Otherwise, I'm assuming you are.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, let's take.
And we're not going to listen to the entire proceeding. I'll put a link in the description box if you want to watch the entire thing for yourself. But look at the smart-ass look on Chille's face. Oh, he's real smug now. But about 90 minutes from now, he's not going to be so smug. Let's go ahead and jump ahead a bit.
1 hour later.
Your Honor, I call Jose De Castro.
Raise your right hand to be sworn by the clerk. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please be seated.
Mr. DeCastro, before you testify, I'm obligated to inform you that you have the right to testify in this proceeding, but you also have the right to remain silent, and should you choose to remain silent, I may not hold that against you in making my decision. Do you understand that?
I do.
And do you still wish to testify?
Yes, I do.
All right, please go ahead.
You have a YouTube channel?
Yes, I do.
Can you give some insight into what that channel was about?
Objection, relevance.
What's the relevance?
Your Honor, the relevance is that we're presenting a First Amendment defense, and the defendant is a member of the press. There's different standards for First Amendment rulings where there is public policy at issue. He can give insight into that.
I'm going to allow it for a bit and see where it goes.
Yes, I do have I do have a YouTube channel, and the reason I have a YouTube channel is because of how many cops kill people every year, how many cops hurt, maim, torture, rape, and kill people every single year. It's such an epidemic that the rest of the world, I get thousands of emails saying, only in America does this happen. I started filming cops because when I was cheated in 2002.
Objection at this point. Relevance.
Well, this is the reason I'm a member of the press.
This narrative.
So, can you ask him a question?
Yes, Your Honor. What type of films do you make for your YouTube channel?
I only film police in their official capacity. I'm known across the country and across the world.
Oh, you pompous twit. I'm known all over the world. Yeah, for being a jackwagon. No doubt about it. But let's listen in some more, shall we?
And why do you engage in that type of filming?
So I'm going to ask you, Mr. Mead, to direct your questions about the incident in question.
The reason I was filming this report that day?
Objection, Your Honor.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
So
There wasn't a question posed, so I'm not sure what he was.
Mr. De Castro, on the dating question, why did you approach that vehicle?
I was filming that cop because that's what I do for a living. I am a member of the press, and I invoked my right to be press. I always invoke my right to be press within the first 10 seconds of engaging with police, and I have thousands of videos that prove this.
this is how you make money.
This is not how specifically I make money. I make money from selling legal documents to people.
Okay, go ahead.
Now wait a minute, Chille. You want us to believe that you make your money from selling indestructible trifolds? According to Social Blade, you're making a shitload of money. Let's say those figures are way off and you only make 1/3 of that. That's still a sizable amount of money. But you want us to believe you make all your money from selling books and trifolds online? Right, sonny boy. We were born at night, but it wasn't last night. How stupid do you think we are? And the judge is smarter than you.
Do you recall the officer telling you to back up?
Yes, I do.
And what did you do after he told you to back up?
I took a couple steps back. I just showed him that I was willing to back up a little bit. However, if I may, in Arizona, they created a 10-foot law.
Objection, relevance, we're not in Arizona, it's the state of Nevada.
So I'm gonna allow it because I think that goes to why he kept saying 10 feet in the video, even though I will take judicial notice that you're not in the state of Arizona, you're in the state of Nevada.
Well, a federal judge struck it down, Your Honor, and
Stop. Can you ask him a question?
Yes, Your Honor. Approximately how many feet did you back up?
I backed up a foot or two. I was at least 10 feet away from that car that the driver was pulled over in.
And when you spoke to the driver, what did you say?
Just after she was okay. The reason I filmed police is because they abuse people so often.
Do you recall the officer telling you not to speak with the driver?
Yes.
And did you make any statements to the driver after that command was given?
Absolutely not.
Did the officer ever give you a specific distance to back up to?
No, he didn't.
If he did, would you have complied with that?
Sure.
Did you believe you were complying with the officer's commands?
100%. I also informed him I'm a member of the press, I'm a constitutional law scholar, that this is what I do.
Now, just so we're all on the same page here, let's take a quick look at what got Chille into trouble into the first place. Roll that brief clip.
Don't tell me what to do.
Please go that way.
Don't tell me what to do.
Then let's just
You're
start
not
walking.
my boss.
I'm giving you a lawful order. Let's start walking now. Let's go. We're going this way.
Are you gonna put your hands on me now? Leave me.
Bro,
Go.
listen, sir,
Don't-
this way.
Well, don't touch me, dude.
I'm just standing here.
I'm
to
just
where you
stand-
need to go.
Are you guys gonna surround me? Leave me alone.
I am escorting you to where
There's
you
no
need
reason
to
to
go.
do this. I'm not trying to fight anybody.
I'm
There's
not
no
saying you're
victim
trying to
here.
fight
There's no crime. You're just trying to dominate another person. Just leave me alone. Okay, I can leave, but you don't have to walk up on me.
Let's go. You haven't
So
left
what's
yet.
the emergency? Is there an
Because
emergency?
somebody's
here?
dead, sir. Is that enough emergency
well,
for
where are
you?
they at?
Let's go.
Where are they at? Where are they at? Are they right here?
Let's go.
Do you recall the officer explaining to you why he decided to arrest you?
There's several parts to the reason why he said he was going to arrest me. He said he was going to arrest me because I wouldn't turn my head a certain direction. If I didn't turn and face the car with my head, that he would place me under arrest instead of just giving me a ticket.
Do you recall him explaining why he decided to detain you before he arrested you?
He decided to obtain me because he said I was obstructing, which, from my understanding, is a physical act where I would have to get in the way. He said that the driver deserved privacy. I believe my First Amendment rights are not up for feelings.
Did he explain to you that the basis of your detention was related primarily to the issue of privacy or the issue of you backing up?
Well, I think from the officer's testimony, we can see that he's scared of the driver, scared of me, scared of everything. They teach them to be afraid of everything. So I had 2 cameras out. It's identified as a member of the press. I'm sorry, repeat the question. I want to get it specific for the record.
Sure. The question was, did the officer explain to you that the basis of your detention was because of you not backing up or because of the privacy issue of the driver?
It was both. He said that, he told me to back up. I backed up a little bit. Then he said, she deserves privacy. And then I told him to go get in your car, little doggy, and write your ticket. And at that point, his face turned bead red, and his veins in his neck stuck out because we were over 20 feet away. And you had to holler to hear each other because the wind was probably 30 miles an hour.
Did you at any point attempt to hit any of the officers involved?
No, Absolutely not.
Did you intentionally swat any of the officers?
Absolutely not. He was giving me unlawful commands. I should not have been detained after identified as a member of the press. If he ever reached a hand out towards me, I wrestle and teach MMA, and I have for 30 years. So it's just a natural reaction as I'm retreating from somebody. If I may have put my hand up, as he said, as he testified himself, I certainly am a law-abiding citizen. I don't break the law. So I would not have tried to assault an officer under any circumstances.
Is it possible that during the interactions there was inadvertent contact between you and the officer?
Sure, he decided to go hands-on with me when he was giving me unlawful commands. And there was absolutely no reason for it. I was willing to comply with anything he asked within reason, because I don't want to have a fist fight with another man on the street.
Do you recall the officer ordering you to go to his patrol vehicle?
I do.
And what did you do in response to that?
Initially, I told him no, but then when he began to get physical with me and start to grab me and touch me, I said, okay, I'll go over to your car. His car was 35 feet away. I then led him to his car. It's on video, you can see it. I walked right up to his car, and then he insisted still on grabbing me. After he saw me pull out an additional phone, which that's what press people do. We have lots of cameras on us.
And did you inform the officer that you were a member of the press?
Oh, several times. It's in the transcripts. I've transcribed them myself. Several times I told him I'm a member of the press.
And did you explain to the officer that you have a background in constitutional law?
Yes, I told him I'm a constitutional law scholar, which was a moniker given to me by other people who are also, they have their own channels, their own press, and that's what some other lawyers on another channel called me 3 years ago.
So let me get this straight, Chille. You're a constitutional law scholar because somebody else on a different channel said you are. You're so full of it. Let's roll a clip just to dispel that notion.
I'm also a constitutional law scholar. I'm a constitutional law scholar, not a mathematician. So, okay. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm a constitutional law scholar. I'm a constitutional law scholar. Terry equals immediate detainment unless you're a constitutional law scholar.
I'm broadcasting this message to my thousands of followers on YouTube. I'm a constitutional law scholar.
You don't have to be smart. You don't have to be a constitutional law scholar. Focus on the numbers. You don't have to be a constitutional law scholar. Let me ask you something. I'm a constitutional law scholar. You see on the back of my shirt. Don't talk to them. You're not a constitutional law scholar. Yes, it is. Who's the constitutional law scholar and who's the cop? You know, I'm a constitutional law scholar. I'm a constitutional law scholar. So I'm not going to follow a mandate because I'm a constitutional law scholar. I'm a constitutional law scholar. I teach civil liberties. Why yours says elementary school, mine says constitutional law scholar. You're a clown, dude. I'm a constitutional law scholar. A constitutional law scholar.
Just to get some, further background, were you looking for police to report on this particular day?
No, the cops hide on the side of the road to pull people over. It's pretty regular in our country. I was just in the parking lot there. I saw that Mr. Bork had somebody pulled over, concerned for her safety. I began to film.
And why do you think that law enforcement traffic stops are relevant to the public?
That's where most people get killed.
Objection relevance. To that question. Move to strike.
Sustained.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
State.
I have no questions for this witness.
Thank you. Sir, you may step down. This is defense trust?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Any argument by the state?
Your Honor, the state asks you to find the defendant guilty of both the obstructing a public officer as well as resisting a public officer charged against him. The video very adequately portrays, and I don't think it's disputed by the defendant, what the context was of the interaction with the officer. I would venture to say that had the defendant just complied with the original order to not engage with the driver and to back up, we wouldn't be here. He wouldn't have found himself further engaging with Officer Bork. This is not a First Amendment issue. As you heard over and over and over again on the video, Officer Bork did not have a problem with the defendant recording. It's not a First Amendment issue. It's an officer safety issue. Here, you have an officer who conducted a lawful traffic stop. You saw the nature of the stop. There was no animosity between the officer and the driver. It was rather peaceful. They were engaged, banter back and forth. He would have, as he testified, he was trying to determine whether he was going to cite her or let her go with a warning. And then you have an individual, the defendant, introduce himself to a situation. Traffic stops, Your Honor, are inherently dangerous, particularly in crowded parking lots, I guess anywhere, I would venture to say. This officer was reasonable in thinking that anyone who would approach in the manner that the defendant approached his scene would have a reason to fear for his safety, or at least be suspicious of this individual's motives coming in. The officer had no problem with the recording. The officer had no problem with the defendant observing. It was when he inserted himself into this lawful detention that was occurring with the Hyundai driver that the officer turned his attention onto the defendant. This is not a First Amendment issue. This is an individual who took what he perceived to be his rights too far. The officer was well within his right, as well as acting reasonably when he asked him to back up. That 21-foot rule, it's appropriate. He said that was the training that they received in terms of the distance that's allowed for someone who means to do them harm. It's a threat assessment. We don't know when the defendant approached whether he had a gun concealed, whether he had a knife concealed, whether he had other weapons. And you'll hear multiple times in the video, Officer Bork yelling, "Stop reaching, stop reaching." This is an unknown, when defense counsel asked Officer Bork all of these questions about how it is that you do this, and Officer Bork kept responding, it depends on the situation, it depends on the totality of the circumstances. Here was an officer acting alone, individually, engaged one-to-one with a driver. That he had no problem with. You insert another individual who enters the scene in the manner that the defendant did, and now this officer's attention is going to be divided. He had every reason to fear for his safety as well as that of the driver. Again, if he had just complied with the officer's commands or demands to back up, and a lot was made about, hey, he didn't have an opportunity to tell the defendant exactly how far back. As the officer testified, even just with the, hey, back up, the defendant didn't back up, not willingly. That's why the officer had to continue to engage with him and force him into the situation. Had he complied, he would not have been charged with obstruction. Had he complied initially, he would not have been charged with the resisting. The officer was, you are going to have to assess credibility. There's nothing in the video or Officer Bork's testimony that would cause the court to question his veracity or his intention for that matter. He was very honest in that he didn't believe the defendant wasn't trying to harm him necessarily with the SWAT. That's why the defendant wasn't charged with the battery on a protected person or a police officer. But that SWAT, Your Honor, I would argue, was meant to resist. At that point in time, the officer was trying to detain him and subsequently arrest him on the obstruction as depicted in the video. And so at this point, I think we proved by beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant did hinder Officer Bork's investigation and detention of the Hyundai driver, and that he resisted the officer's arrest and or attempt to arrest him. And so we would ask that you find the defendant guilty of both.
Right. Thank you.
We're not going to listen to Chille's long-winded attorney try to get him out of this because there is no getting out of it. He's guilty as charged. So let's skip to the sentencing phase because that's the good part. Roll that clip.
A few minutes later.
All right, Mr. DeCastro, please stand. The problem with the argument that your attorney makes is it completely fails to consider the safety of the officer and the safety of the driver. The officer doesn't know who you are, and the driver doesn't know who you are. And you don't have any right to interfere with that officer doing his investigation and deciding if he wants to issue a ticket to this driver. And you also don't have any business approaching the driver. The driver didn't ask you for help. The driver didn't say, help, help, You didn't see an altercation happening between the officer and this driver. The officer didn't protest that you were filming. There's no problem with filming. You can film, it's fine, all right? But you did interfere with his investigation. You did interfere with his ability to do his job. You did put him in a position where he is concerned for his safety and the safety of the driver. So I believe the state's met their burden beyond reasonable doubt. I'm going to find you guilty of obstructing a public officer and resisting a public officer. So I'd like to hear from the state and then your attorney prior to sentencing.
Your Honor, in terms of sentencing, I would ask that our defendant enter and complete an impulse control class. I would ask that the court lobby a $500 fine or the equivalent in community service. I would ask that the defendant be ordered to stay out of trouble for the pendency of the case. And I would ask for a 90-day suspended sentence. And that's on as to each count to one concurrent. That's our request.
Thank you.
Take note that the prosecution is asking for a $500 fine and a 90-day suspended sentence in jail. And did you see the look on the judge when she said 90-day suspended sentence? The judge has something else in mind. Again, we're going to skip over the defense attorney. Let's get right to the crux of the matter.
A few minutes later.
When you say he doesn't wish to engage in any wrongdoing, it seems to me from observing him in the video that he wants this. He wants to get arrested. He wants to get into an altercation with police officers. He welcomes this. This helps his YouTube channel. He called the officers here in my courtroom today pigs. He called and he's nodding his head up and down. So apparently he hates every law enforcement officer in the United States. All right. Please stand up, sir. Are you finished with your request for credit for time served?
I would just emphasize, Your Honor, that the defendant testified and he sincerely believes that he is providing a public service when he reviews and films these incidents. I understand the court may have a different view of that, but when we're talking about First Amendment public policy issues such as supervising people involved in government, I think that is something the court can take into consideration, not to have a chilling effect on that. I'll submit on that, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. DeCastro, please stand. I hereby sentence you to 90 days in the Clark County Detention Center on count 1, 90 days in the Clark County Detention Center on count 2, to run consecutive for a total of 180 days in custody. Thank you.
Sentence suspended or?
Oh no, we're going to start right now.
Can you put you please? I'm going to teach you over shit. This is a travesty of justice. Unbelievable. I don't like police. They put me in jail for half a year, sir. How long have I been in the Just get it in the car. I think I was in the car before. Yeah, it's in the church. Oh, can I get my keys off? My keys are in the car garage. They're inside my. Can you enjoy it? No, in the briefcase. Yeah, I'll get your stuff. It's a minivan, some popcorn plates on it. Get a hold of my assistant, James.
Now that's the true walk of shame right there, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't get any worse than that. Got his head down and he's walking back in torture cuffs. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to make him bend over, spread his butt cheeks, and look up there with a flashlight. Yeah, I bet you're going to love that, boy. Just to make sure he was in jail, I checked at the Clark County website, and there he is. He's an inmate. Oh, Chille, how embarrassing for you. Perhaps Chille should have brought his indestructible trifold to court. That might have helped him out a little bit. he could have showed the judge. Now to finish up this video, let's take a look at a clip that got him into trouble. It's not the clip that just got him sent to jail for 180 days, but he has another hearing coming up for this video on May 1st. The lad just doesn't know when to shut his mouth. Let's roll that clip.
Can we help you? You could just do your job, mind your own business. That's what you could do. Excuse me? I told you, I'd say it again, you could mind your own business. I'm doing my job. I appreciate your time. But just, if I was you, I'd just shut your mouth so I don't put you in your place. That's what I'd do if I was you. I'd shut up. If I was you. Unless you want to look like an idiot on YouTube.
We're still pretty close to the road, so let's push this out a little bit further.
If you just keep going that way for me, I'm okay if you videoing, but video over there for
Don't
me,
tell me where to stand. I'm a constitutional law scholar. I'm suing you guys for $5 million. I'll sue you for $5 million more.
Let's see if I have this right. A constitutional law scholar who's never won a lawsuit. Oh, and I'm telling you, Chille, you won't win the $5 million ones either. See, he's got 2 $5 million lawsuits filed in Las Vegas right now. They're going to laugh him out of court.
You don't have a right to tell me what to do.
I'm just asking you to
Shut
stand
your
over there.
piggish
We're
mouth.
still doing
And
it.
don't approach me. Shut your mouth.
Sir, do you see the crime
Shut
scene
your
tape
mouth
over there?
and shut your mouth.
Do you see
I'm
the
your
tape?
boss.
Do you see the tape
You
over there?
understand that?
Let's
Shut
go
your
back
mouth.
over
I'm
there.
walking down the street. Mind your own business.
No,
I'm just standing here. If you hadn't approached me,
sergeant.
don't come behind me, piggy. Okay? If you hadn't approached me, I don't give a damn what you are. You're not a sergeant. Shut your mouth. I'm here doing my job. I'm a member of the press. I invoke my First Amendment right.
Okay.
Now, I invoke my Fifth Amendment right, so don't ask me another question. Take 3 steps back, gentlemen. I'm not your suspect. Take 3 steps back from me.
Okay, so there's a crime scene
Take
tape
3
over there,
steps
and
back
you're
from
standing
me.
in a crime scene now,
I'm
so you
walking
need to
down the
leave.
street. I can walk
Okay.
anywhere I want. There's
Sir,
not crime
this is
scene
a
right
crime
here.
scene.
The crime tape would be over here then, wouldn't it, dunce cap?
Speaking of dunce cap, you're a member of the press, huh? Who do you work for? Oh, that's right. He's an independent jackwagon. Chille, I would have loved to seen him behind bars. He was behind bars for 12 hours. I bet he didn't run his smart mouth while he was in there, did he? He probably hid in the corner somewhere and prayed nobody would jump on him. Oh, he needed his mommy.
I get you didn't graduate from high school,
crime
did you?
scene tape right there, okay?
We're just asking you to
I don't
step
give a
over
rat's
there.
ass what you say. Do you understand that?
Sir,
I don't
you
care
don't have
what
to
you
make
say.
this
I'm not
difficult,
breaking
sir.
any laws. Make it difficult. If you'd mind your own damn business, we wouldn't be talking right now. If you hadn't opened your mouth, I wouldn't be talking to you.
I'm
just filming this.
You're okay to film.
I'm a member of
I'm
the
just
press.
asking
I
to
told
film
you I
over
invoke
there.
my Fifth Amendment right. You don't have a right to ask me questions.
You have your.
I got the First Amendment. What are the first 5 big freedoms of the First Amendment?
You have your press
I'm a
documents, sir.
constitutional law scholar, you dunce cap. What's it like to
Sir,
be so stupid?
there's
I wonder what
crime
that's
scene
like.
tape right there,
What's
and
it
that's
like
where
to
you
be a
need to go.
moron?
You walk
What's it like to
underneath-
not know
sir,
our rights?
You walk underneath
Correct
the crime
him.
scene tape already, sir.
Hey, correct him, sir. Correct this man. Explain to him that he doesn't have a right. Don't put your hands on me.
I would love to talk to one of the prosecuting attorneys and see what their opinion is when he says, I'm a constitutional law scholar. Well, hey, constitutional law scholar, the Fifth Amendment is for when you testify in court. It's not for when you're standing on the street corner. Yeah, you invoke the Fifth Amendment in a court of law because you don't want to incriminate yourself. You stupid law professor.
He walked across
Are you
the
gonna
crime
run over and
scene
grab
tape.
me? Are you gonna run over and grab me?
Sir, you've already...
Are you gonna run over?
Sir,
I'm walking down the street,
Keep
gentlemen.
walking,
I have a
man.
right to film this.
Keep
You
walking.
understand that?
I understand.
I have a right to
I'm
film
asking
this.
you to
If you
film
touch
over
me,
there.
I will sue you. I
You're
sue
more than
you cops
welcome.
every
Crime scene tape
time.
already, sir.
I was walking down the street. I have a right to do so.
Okay, but we
There's
are
crime
telling
scene
you
tape.
that you need to
Your cop
continue
told me to
walking.
walk over here. I have it on video.
Okay, and I understand that.
You're confronting me when you should be working on your job.
If you
I love when frauditors say, I'm the boss. I'm your boss. You work for me. Not likely, Chille. I don't know. Are you living in Nevada now? You bozo? Yeah, he's not a boss. He's a bozo. Lives in his van. Doesn't even have a permanent residence. You're a pitiful little man, Chille.
Go ahead and arrest me and find out how quick I sue your ass.
Sir.
Just do it.
Okay.
Okay, I have to walk the other
go to
way,
the crime
so I'm
scene
going to
tape,
be
sir.
walking over here.
Go to the crime scene tape, sir.
Don't tell me what to do.
please go that way.
Don't tell me what to do.
Then let's just
You're
start
not my
walking.
boss.
I'm giving you a lawful order. Let's start walking now. Let's go. We're going this
Are
way.
you going to put your hands on me now? Leave me
Well,
alone.
listen, sir,
Don't-
this way.
well, don't touch me, dude.
I'm just
Dude,
standing
standing here.
you to where you need to go.
Are you guys going to surround me? Leave me alone.
I am escorting you to where
There's
you
no
need
reason
to
to
go.
do this. I'm not trying to fight anybody.
I'm
There's
not
no
saying you're
victim
trying to
here.
fight
There's
it,
no
sir.
crime. You're just trying to dominate another
Let's do
person.
the- go to
Just
the crime
leave
scene
me
tape, sir.
alone. Okay, I can leave, but you don't have to walk up on me.
Let's go. You haven't
So
left
what's
yet.
the emergency?
Is there an
Because
emergency?
somebody's
here?
dead, sir. Is that enough emergency
Well,
for
where
you?
are they at?
Let's go.
Where are they at? Where are they at? Are they right here?
Let's go, sir.
Am I causing any problems?
Frauditors always talk about de-escalation, but Chille, no, he wants to escalate. He's the one that's causing the problem right now, and it's all for clicks and views. It's all for the camera. It's all for YouTube.
Sir, let's go.
The only thing you're
Come
doing
on.
is losing
Let's
your
go, sir.
cool, acting like an
Sir,
idiot.
the crime scene is
You're
right here.
acting like
Let's
a
go.
dunce cap.
Let's go, sir.
You're on
The
camera
crime scene
acting
is right
like a
here, sir. Let's
moron,
go.
bro.
Come on, sir.
No, look at this. I got 1, 2,
No, we're
3, 4
escorting
cops.
to make sure
For
you
what?
leave
What
the
good's it doing?
area.
What good's it doing?
Just go on
You
the
don't
other
need to
side of the
escort me.
crosswalk.
Go back to where
You
you're
just haven't
going.
left
I'm
yet.
walking. I'm walking right now.
Now let's go.
Oh, now you're threatening me with violence. Now this guy's threatening me with violence.
Let's go, sir.
Now they're pushing me. Look at their hands all over me. Look at that. Look at that.
You're right.
All,
We're escorting you.
don't touch me, boys. Don't.
Well, there you have it, good people. Stupid is as stupid does, and they don't get much more stupid than Chille de Castro with his trifold, his indestructible trifold. Yeah, you picked on the wrong ones today, Chille. 12 hours behind bars. Too bad you couldn't do longer. Could have got to know Bubba and the boys. Well, at any rate, if you enjoy watching stupid people do stupid things on my channel, this is the place for you. And please subscribe. As always, thanks so much for stopping by, Chille. You want to file another false copyright strike, sweetheart? Feel free. Cheers to that.
I've actually studied English, and I have over a 400 level education in English. I'm not sitting down. I refuse to sit down. I refuse. Big tough guy. Big tough guy. Big tough guy. What are you gonna do about it? Nothing. Nothing. You can come try to make me. You're welcome to try to make me. Take a swing. Take a swing.
What is the reason for calling the officers here?
No reason I'm really unhappy that somebody did this to me.
I'm going to arrest you for trespassing in a minute.
On public property?
Yeah, we're asking you to leave and you're not leaving. That's trespassing.
She's right in my face, guys. You can't come up and touch me like that.
You don't have permission to film me in any space.
I don't need permission to
Yes, you do.
record you in public, man. No,
Actually,
that's
you
the
do.
law.
Oh, is that like a law?
Against the law.
Oh, what law is that? Funny, because I've never heard about that. I pay for that uniform, I pay for that car, I'm the taxpayer, right? You work for me, right? You're just a little guy. You're just a little guy. You work for me. You are a public servant. You are a public servant. You work for me.